Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Launcher. Welcome to Career Launcher's YT channel for law aspirants. We are looking at a series of reading comprehension passages. This is to help you practice with different passages of different genres, different types of questions, so that when it is time for you to take the test, you will do very well in it. Are you ready to start? Let's start. If you're watching a recording of this session, please, when I show you the slide and I read aloud, mute and then read it on your own. Solve the questions on your own. Pause the video, solve the questions on your own, and then look at the discussion. All right, let's start. This is a passage based on a political commentary on a legal issue, 450 words, slightly longer than a CLAT passage, but it is a very good passage, useful for you from a general knowledge point of view, from the legal aptitude point of view, also for reading comprehension. Okay, I'll start reading. You read along with me and summarize as you read, just the way I summarize. The Supreme Court of India's probing questions to Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi have exposed a pattern of willful violation of constitutional duty on his part. So he says that the Supreme Court has asked Tamil Nadu governor some questions, and these questions reveal that the governor violated his constitutional duty. He broke his constitutional duty. He defied the constitution in his actions. The questions related to the lawfulness of Mr. Ravi's Mr. Ravi's act in referring to the President of India a set of bills for which he had earlier withheld access, but was constitutionally bound to grant assent after the adoption for a second time. Assent means to give approval, to say yes. Now, what is the violation of the Constitution? The Constitution says that when a state assembly sends the governor a bill, he can send it back, he can withhold assent. But if the state assembly adopts it a second time, then the governor is bound to grant assent. Instead of granting assent, what did the instead of granting giving his yes, signing on the bill, that is called giving his assent, what did the governor do? He sent the bill to the president, and in doing so, according to the Supreme Court, he broke the constitution because the constitutional rule is different, right? So he went against the provisions of the Constitution. The bench was speaking on behalf of everyone when it asked whether Mr. Ravi had referred these bills to the president only to avoid granting assent as required by the first proviso of Article 200 of the Constitution. The earlier understanding that withholding of assent puts an end to the life of a bill was altered by the court's judgment in 2023, holding that whenever governors opt for that course of action, they should return the bill to the legislature, and if passed again by the House, they were bound to grant assent. So earlier, okay, the governors could withhold assent or send it to the president, and the bill dies. The bill loses its validity. But 2023, the court's judgment altered this provision, and it said that whenever a government withholds assent to a bill, he should not send it to the president, he should return it to the legislature. And if the legislature passes it again, second time, saying no, this is correct, then the governor is bound to pass the bill to give his assent. Okay, all right. Faced with queries, the Attorney General of India raised the issue of possible repugnancy with the law. Maybe the governor did not like the law. He argued that the governor had rightly referred these bills to the president due to an apparent conflict with UGC regulations, as these bills seek to change the manner in which university vice chancellors are appointed. He said that there was a conflict. There was a conflict with UGC regulations, this particular bill. So the governor therefore referred it to the president because the bill changed changes the manner in which vice chancellors of the UGC are appointed. UGC regulations are opposite, different. So the governor had, because of this conflicting nature, he sent it to the president. The AG also maintained that when the governor had earlier withheld assent, the bill ceased to exist, and the assembly had presumed that these had been returned by the government and adopted them a second time. In a related contention, he also argued that the requirement to return a bill does not hold good if the issue of repugnancy is noted. So now, the Attorney General raised a new issue. He said that the bill went against the central law, which is why the governor returned it, and therefore this rule about he is bound to pass it a second time if the legislature passes it a second time does not work in his case. These arguments may appear fascinating in determining the course of action to be followed by governors in dealing with bills, and the bench, which had reserved its judgment, may come up with answers. So they will now uh, uh, the arguments raised by the court, by the attorney general, all these raise some very interesting issues. The bench has reserved its judgment now. The bench has not given any answers. However, this is what the editor is saying, taking it from an editorial. He says, however, the fact that the governor has been using his powers to scuttle legislation is obvious that he has been using his power not in a very right way. He's using it to ensure that certain laws, certain kind of legislation is not passed. He has not acted on some of these bills for a year or two and has expressed his reservation to the repugnancy aspect when withholding bills. It's not just one bill to his he's raising the repugnancy aspect. Whenever he is withholding an assent, he has expressed this. Also, he ignored the fact that he was bound to grant assent when the bill was presented to him a second time, but referred them to the president. The bill was given to him a second time. He knows the rule that he is bound to give his assent, but he still sent it to the president. Even in a 2023 hearing, the court had questioned whether a governor, having chosen to withhold assent, could exercise another option by referring the same bill to the president. So earlier also in a hearing in 2023, the same question came up. Once a bill is sent, the governor withholds assent or returns it to the legislature. Legislature passes it a second time, then the governor is bound to give his assent. The court had discussed this issue. Is the governor bound to give his assent, or can he refer the same bill to the president? All right, this was question. This issue has been discussed. Mr. Ravi appears bent on scuttling any law that does not suit his worldview. In the case of this governor, he seems to be bent on stopping, hindering, scuttling any law that does not suit him or his views. It is time the union government took note of the challenge his continuance in office poses to constitutional governance in Tamil Nadu. So, Tamil Nadu government is acting according to the constitution. Can they continue like this when the governor is doing what he wants to? So, that's the question asked by the editor. Got it? Now let's look at the first question. What is the main argument of the author? What is the central point of the passage? Can you put the passage in one word, one sentence? What would it be? The governor is constitutionally bound to grant assent to legislation passed by the state assembly. Partly true, but not the main point. His grant assent bound only if it's the second time. Moreover, this is not the main point. The passage is about the actions of the Tamil Nadu governor. So, Tamil Nadu governor is one of the main words. Second word is sending a bill to the president, knowing that he has to actually give his assent. Third, what he did is, according to the author, unconstitutional, right? All these have to be, or most of these points have to be mentioned in the main point. The Tamil Nadu governor was partially justified in using his discretionary powers to withhold assent to the bill. This is the view of not just partial of the attorney general, not the passage. The passage, the uh, author is pretty critical of the governor's actions. The Tamil Nadu government did not violate the constitution, goes against the tone of the passage. The Tamil Nadu government willfully violated, deliberately violated his constitutional duties by using his discretionary powers to obstruct legislation. That is the correct answer. Therefore, D is the correct answer. The Supreme Court's attitude towards the Tamil Nadu government can be best described as they asked a question, they asked a lot of questions, they asked him why did he do this, and the Supreme Court in a sense was showing the governor that you are wrong. So the attitude is reproachful, scolding but tactfully. Stern, yes, but reproachful is a better word. Dismissive, no. Critical, they did not criticize. They just asked questions which showed how the governor had acted wrongly. So, in a way, the question showed the fault of the governor. So, it was reproachful. Reproachful is a better, best word to describe the Supreme Court's tone. Which of the following can be inferred about the governor's right to withhold assent to a bill? We read it. The governor can withhold assent indefinitely if they believe the bill contradicts constitutional provisions. This part is not correct. The government may withhold action of the bill, but if the bill is passed again, they are constitutionally bound to give assent to it. True. Government has the discretion to withhold assent as many times as necessary. No. Second time, they are bound to give assent. The government must refer any bill they withhold assent from directly to the president. No, in 23 this was changed. Therefore, it is option B. Question 4. Which of the following is true about the Tamil Nadu governor's actions in referring the bill to the president? The governor correctly referred to the bills to the president because they involved political potential conflicts with central laws. Do you think the author agrees that he correctly, the court has reserved judgment in this case, but the author definitely doesn't believe that he correctly referred. He, according to the law, he should have sent it back, so he was not correct. Therefore, his referral of the bill to the president was necessary since once the bill assent is withheld, the bill ceases. This was according to an earlier law, no more. The governor followed standard constitutional procedure. No, he didn't. The governor's referral of the bills to the president was a way to circumvent his constitutional. It was a way to scuttle the bill and scuttle his duty. So he was not bound. He used that as a tool. He used that as a method to avoid giving his assent. So D is the correct answer. Circumvent means go around the law, evade it, avoid it. All right. So he avoided his duty to grant assent by sending it off to the president. All right. So D is the correct answer. Question 5. Which of the following best describes the meaning of the word according to a proviso in the constitution, in the law, a mandatory requirement within a constitutional provision? So there is a part in the constitution which says something that is called the provision of the constitution. In that provision, there is one requirement which is there, then that is called a proviso. So A is the perfect definition of a proviso. Question 6. The Supreme Court asked probing questions. The word probing has been used as the first blank. You have to mention what part of speech it is used as, what part of speech. Second one, what is its meaning? It's used as an adjective. Probing questions means inquiring questions. Probing is used with question. Question is a noun. So probing question, here probing has become an adjective. What kind of questions? Stupid question, good question, probing question. So adjective and inquiring. It's not an adverb and it's not inquisitive. Inquisitive means curious. So these are wrong. It's not a noun. Therefore, the correct answer is option A. Question 7. Which of the following sentences is correct grammatically? So, one sentence, the second part has been expressed in three different ways, and none of the above is one action. So, let's look at it. It is time the Union government took note of the challenge his continuance in office poses to constitutional governance in Tamil Nadu. Is it took note, takes note, should take note, or none of the above? None of the above is not an answer. Should take. So, because it is time the union government has been used, This requires a verb in the subjunctive tone, and that will be in the past tense. So here it is took note is correct, takes note is not correct, should is not used in the subjunctive. Therefore, A is the correct answer. It has been used correctly in the passage also. When you learn subjunctives, I will explain it in detail in the next class. So the correct form of the it's high time you did that. It's high time we went. We use the past form of the verb. Okay, that's the in cases of it is time, it is high time. These expressions. All right. All right. I hope you got most of the questions right. If you have any questions, please leave it in the chat box. We will look at it and answer. If you liked the video, if you liked the lesson, please press the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel. I will see you again very soon in one more RC passage. Until then, bye bye.